The Ontake disaster in 2014 may have seemed like the worst result of a phreatic or hydrothermal explosion. But something worse could happen. Morgan estimates the explosion at Mary Bay ejected about a quarter cubic kilometer of water-saturated mud, sand and rock from the crater. That's 100 to 400 times the volume released by the Ontake explosion. The volume is also roughly 50 times the volume of sand and rock released in the Storax Sedan nuclear test. When the U.S. military detonated a 104 kiloton bomb underground in the Nevada desert in 1962. The explosion at Mary Bay also threw boulders the size of refrigerators out of the water and sent smaller debris up to 2 kilometers into the air and landed as far away as 20 kilometers. The explosion sent a wave of boiling mud onto the shore of the lake, forming a pile 8 stories high. When the top layer of rock explodes from the bottom of a lake, the loss of weight of the rock lowers the pressure of the water-saturated rock beneath it, allowing it to explode, which in turn lowers the pressure of other rock layers and fluids. At the bottom and so on. Layers in the lake core indicate that 3 large explosions occurred, perhaps within minutes, Morgan said. He and others are now studying hydrothermal domes in and around Yellowstone Lake that could explode. In 2016, Bedrosian and Carol Finn, a USGS geophysicist, peered inside the North Basin Hydrothermal Dome and other structures in Yellowstone using a remote sensing technique called electrical resistivity, which hints at the chemical composition of minerals and the presence of water beneath the surface. This effort revealed some kind of hot material with high resistivity hidden beneath the dome's hard covering. Bedrosian, who is still analyzing the data, thinks steam is to blame because salt water has less resistance. This shows that the hydrothermal fluid rising under the dome has increasingly boiled and that what reaches the dome is mostly steam, not superheated fluid. If the dome becomes unstable, then there is not enough water to expand into steam and trigger a large explosion, although a small explosion is possible. However, if fluid circulation changes, the dome could fill with very hot liquid water, creating a more dangerous situation. Some of the material that caused the large explosion may be present in other parts of the park. In the lower geyser basin, home to the Pocket Basin and the large Twin Buttes crater, water coming out of the ground is high in sodium chloride. This chemical profile indicates that the liquid had not boiled before reaching the surface, so it still had full explosive potential. The same thing happened at Norris Geyser Basin, which hosts 3 other large explosion craters, and Upper Geyser Basin, where Old Faithful is located. Although monitoring for signs of an impending hydrothermal explosion is not yet possible. Scientists argue that people should not avoid visiting Yellowstone. Likewise, most people don't avoid visiting Los Angeles just because they're worried about earthquakes. The possibility of a large earthquake or hydrothermal explosion occurring someday is very small. However, if there is a large explosion, which is rare, it can cause serious damage. So as Morgan studies other blast craters, he keeps an eye on places that might someday explode, including Storm Point, on the north shore of Yellowstone Lake, near Mary Bay. The 800-meter-wide dome often has snow-free areas during winter because heat seeps from within. Soil temperatures can reach 50 degrees Celsius in some low, sandy places, similar to summer pavement. The plants are rare and the gravelly soil is hard and unforgiving, cemented with hydrothermal minerals. Hot water is still bubbling out of vents along the edge of the dome, so for now there is still a safety valve that can release the pressure. But if it's closed tightly, it's like a ticking time bomb, Morgan said. Then all it takes is a sudden trigger, like an earthquake, and everything will explode.